This is one of the biggest abandoned buildings in all of Indiana, and you can go here. With a century of deaths, a murder-suicide, and missing persons, this property is a breeding ground for the paranormal. Join us as we dive into the history of one of Indiana's biggest abandoned buildings. This is Before the Indiana State Sanitorium was left a crumbling site. It found its infancy way back in 1905, when tuberculosis was ravaging the world. So a committee was appointed to investigate the need for a state-run hospital to address the issue. Only 2 years later, $250,000 was allocated for the purchase of the site in Rockville, Indiana. Shovels hit the dirt in September of 1909, and a total of 504 acres were purchased. The hospital's construction camp was dubbed Camp Truday, after the man who established the first TB hospital in New York State. Construction on the administration building concluded in 1910, and patients were welcomed the following year. The structure hosted numerous amenities like the kitchen, x-ray room, morgue, office, operating room, and even housed the nurses on the 3rd floor. Flanking the admin building were 2 pavilions with porches, so patients could get fresh air, a common treatment practice during the time. The physical location was even used for treatment. The location of the Indiana State Tuberculosis Hospital in rural Indiana was a strategic choice in order to treat patients, while also quarantining them from general public, meaning the site quickly became self-sufficient by 1911, providing a self-contained town with schools, dairies, farm fields, stores, greenhouses, and orchards. Coal for the town/hospital would be provided by the covered bridge, built in 1913, from Little Raccoon Creek. Even hospital staff and the superintendent lived on sanatorium grounds. The hospital actually began operations under the name the Indiana State Sanitorium in 1919, until, well... If you know anything about TB, you probably know it was cured. And the thing about a tuberculosis hospital is, if there are no TB patients, you're not going to be able to operate, leading to the closure in 1968. But the site wouldn't remain dormant for long, as it quickly reopened as the Alan Bryant Nursing Home and Mental Health Hospital in 1976. Much isn't particularly known about the nursing home during the time, except the tragedies. Myrtle Norholt, 71, found dead from hypothermia after wandering outside in January of 2002. 3 months later, Derek Rolwitz, 30, left the facility and was found hung less than a quarter of a mile away. Robert E. Diddlot, 62, found dead on February 14, 2006, after disappearing 3 weeks prior. 6 months later, George Porter, 56, wandered from the facility and was struck and killed on the highway. And then, on August 7th of 2009, a man was shot and killed over a workplace dispute, before the aggressor killed himself immediately following. It's no wonder the state withdrew funding in January of 2011, in addition to the numerous reports of a lack of cleanliness, lack of hot water, etc. Residents would be forced to relocate and the facility was abandoned. But after nearly 10 years of neglect, the property would be purchased by Greg Larson on December 31st of 2020. Him and his team have numerous years of experience restoring historic structures and are currently attempting to place the sanatorium on the National Historic Register. This would include 220 acres, 7 houses, 3 main hospital buildings, and numerous ancillary structures. While Larson and his team work, they also provide the opportunity for thrill seekers to explore the property for as little as $25. In addition to providing historical and paranormal tours, the sanatorium itself is no stranger to the paranormal, being featured on December 11th, 2021 on an episode of Destination Fear. The site continually draws investigators, continually searching for what lies behind the veil. So this is your chance to explore one of the biggest haunted, abandoned places in all of Indiana. If you liked this video, well, think you'll like this one. Thank you for watching, and good night.